Down here, salt is a way of life.
Obviously, the environment down here is all salt. The ceiling's salt, the floor is salt, the walls are salt, and to an extent, the air is salt. And you breathe that in, and you can constantly taste the salt.
Taking the game hostage with DC penalty. Ever since they reactivated the penalty, every game has been the exact same thing. Killer targets someone and keeps them slugged, face camped the entire game. The survivor doesn't get to play at all. They only joined that match to get BM'd until they bleed out or let go on the hook. Bad killers like to especially take advantage of this if they know you're a good survivor. They'll do anything and everything in their power to avoid everyone else but said survivor, keeping them hostage under a penalty that enforces toxicity. I have recordings of a bubbo absolutely refusing to target anyone else but me because he didn't like that he couldn't get me down with his saw and lost 3 gens. If they body blocked him, he went around them. If they got near the hook, he only stood closer to me and pulled them off just to let them get away. This is hostage under penalty.
How about games where survivor does DC intentionally so its teammate gets a free open hatch? DC penalty should be more strict, but must detect intentional DC properly first. Without that, it will be unfair towards people who DC'd because of RL reasons, like power shutdown or internet cut off.
If the survivor DC'd to give hatch, there had to be a reason. Either the killer didn't give an option by holding the game hostage, or the killer has a power roll that'd get both players killed. Forfeiting your points and pip to give hatch should be seen as okay. You also gaslighted the discussion instead of actually discussing. I've personally DC'd to give hatch when I was being kept cornered BC he didn't want to eat the DS, borrowed. I'm a killer main, and the DC penalty is only unfair to survivors. Take a loss by DC shouldn't be seen as a negative thing, and only an entitled mindset will argue for it because you think you're owed more than you are. Your given is that you made them forfeit. Stop holding your hand out for more.
That's not taking the game hostage. /thread.
Good thing I'm not asking for longer penalties. I'm implying I want the removal of them because how abusable it is. Also, survivors picked from are literally walking 10 feet. If someone DCS at the end of the game, it literally doesn't affect anyone else alive if it's done for a power move. It's different at any other point in the game. If I slug you, and I don't let you get up or get away, but I refuse to interact with all 3 other survivors, I'm holding the game hostage for the said person on the ground. I'm effectively letting the other players gain points. Boosting, working with those 3, just to ruin the game for the person slugged.
No, because the survivors will bleed out.
There's a difference between playing the game normally, and ruining it for one person, and refusing to admit that. Until then, yes, just being ignorant to the situation for a terrible agenda. That was also a reply about not being able to run him indefinitely, not the killer K-Patilsing. The gaslighting is real with your entitled mindset. Put your hand down, you were given enough.
You're completely ignoring the actual definition of holding the game hostage, just to suit your bias.
Refusing to interact with 3 other people to make the game unfun or fair to one person is an issue, and they're a hostage in a situation that they get penalized for no reason. Yay, I too didn't tell you this, but these devs are admittably wrong on a lot of things. I don't blame you though, you can't think for yourself. purposefully ruining the game and making it unplayable shouldn't be brushed off.
You can't prove intent, you can prove DC.
I'm locking this as I don't feel the op is interested in discussion, seeing as the points raised here were completely disregarded by them. Locking for any reason other than an IRL emergency or a game-breaking bug is not acceptable and will incur a timeout penalty, for the reason that it's not acceptable. Camping and tunneling are not reportable offenses and are in fact part of the game. Slugging is also not a reportable offense, neither is it taking the game hostage because, as others have rightly said, the survivor will bleed out.
Remove quit penalty. Ask any game developer out there. They will tell you from experience time and time again that their game populations began to shrink exponentially when they implemented quit penalties to their matchmaking. The deal is sometimes you get bad matches, sometimes you get absolute CNTS for opponents, and it makes the game not fair or fun for anyone except maybe the abusive personalities. At that point, the only natural and fair response is to just call it quits and find a new, hopefully better match. This whole idea of playthrough adversity is just a trash mindset to have and is usually only demanded by the most egregious of offenders. But back to my first point, this game's population is already small by virtue of it being a niche game. Penalizing your killers for quitting, who are far fewer by nature, will kill your game faster than the constant nerfing of killers. If we can't bail on softs who make the game unbearable and lacking in fun, then there's really nothing to be done. The current attitude of the game is that softs hold the power and can bully the killer. There is no fear, and no respect. Why should we be beholden to their whims? TL. Doctor remove quit ban. It's trash.
Both sides can be hard-sued, but it isn't an excuse to quit just cause things aren't going your way.
Lobby dodging is the same thing as DCing. You're just doing it preemptively.
It just makes me throw hard off in matches I don't want to be in. If I'm going down, I'm taking everyone with me.
Matchmaking blocked? Okay, I'll just play a different game. The DC penalty is trash. 5 minutes, I can literally stare at the screen and wait it out. It doesn't do, and I will not stop DCing because of it, lol.
Good, one less quitter to worry about joining my game.
Lol, you'll act like I'm trash at the game. I DC because PHVR needs to fix their dedicated servers. I only DC if I get hit after my feet touch the ground vaulting a pallet. Eat my ass, all y'all. I DC'd again because my decisive isn't turning on after I get unhooked, and I still only got 5 minutes, lol. This isn't doing anything but allowing me enough time to tell BHVR that their game is buggy. If what's up with the DC timeout? Why do they use the DC timeout? I mean, who wants to play a Billy or a Nurse? 5 of my friends I play with on a daily basis uninstalled it because of it.
Good riddance.
Refund? What's the point of playing if Tking just gets you banned? That should technically be illegal, especially if you're paying for the game. I think a lawsuit should be in hand.
What's the point of playing if you planning to DC?
By entering a game you are entering a social contract to be a decent person for a few minutes. I see that idea bothers you. Learn to play around your frustration or play less.
For refunds you need to see the terms on the platform that you are playing on, so for Steam it's less than 2 hours played within a 14-day period of owning the game. As to the DC penalty, it's your responsibility to ensure you follow the game rules as you accepted this with the EULA. Unsportsmanlike behavior is what King falls under and is therefore punishable with an immediate timeout.
Literally cannot play the game. Not only am I getting randomly disconnected from matches left and right for no reason, but the three head devs of this game thought it would be a great idea to bring back DC penalty, which literally nobody asked for or wants. So because of the random disconnects I'm now getting punished for something literally out of my control. I'm now at a 6-hour matchmaking ban because of this trash. What a joke.
I asked for the DC penalty back. Unless you wanna go, you're literally nobody, then touche.
People are going to disconnect either way. Punishing them with a 5-minute ban isn't really a deterrent, and when they increase the ban to hours or days, a lot of people are just going to quit the game instead of having to eat dots.
The best part is people seem to actually want DC penalties. I'm gonna start the game and DC as a daily chore now.